Hi everyone, I'm Yana Smakula and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing how small stamps can make a huge impact on a card. I'm hoping you love this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell too to be notified of every new upload. I'm starting to work on my card just like I always do by stamping the focal image for my project. Today it's an adorable bunny from the sweetest Some Bunny stamp set. I'm using my Mini Misty stamping tool and black Copic marker friendly ink for stamping. Now Misty isn't necessary here. You can stamp this image using a regular clear block. The sweetest Somebody stamp set comes with a few small images that I typically overlook in a stamp set. And if you're like me, you probably overlook them as well. But small images, and in this case, it's the little flowers and the leafy branches, can make a big impact on your card design. When I was planning this card, I envisioned my bunny having a beautiful floral band on her head. And I also imagined my bunny sitting inside a floral wreath. Even though there isn't a wreath image in this stamp set, the tiny florals allow me to create any kind of wreath I like, an oval or a circle wreath, or even a full-blown background. I picked a few everyday ink colors from my stash, a pretty pink, a bright yellow, a coral color for the smaller flower, as well as some light blue and beautiful green. Each of the tiny supportive images from my stamp set were stamped using one color of ink each, and they were stamped a bunch of times. I didn't really know how many flowers I would need, and as you can tell, I stamped more than enough for my card. There are coordinating dies available, and I used mine to cut out the bunny and many of the stamped flowers and leaves. I've started working on my headband for the bunny by adding various florals. The little long flowers, they look like bluebells to me. I stamped those in yellow ink as I didn't really want to have any dark blue or purple on this card. To create a sentiment, I used a message from this stamp set, the one that reads, "To the sweetest Some Bunny I know." And to make it into a two-line message, I cut it apart using my scissors. I often do this to customize my sentiments, and I've not once regretted it. After I cut my stamp apart, I stamped it on a panel of pale yellow cardstock in black ink, allowing for some room above the sentiment to house the bunny and the wreath that I was about to make. If you have a hard time visualizing a wreath for your card, you can use a circular or an oval object to help you figure out the placement. Even something as simple as a roll of double-sided tape will do. If you need to, you can use a pencil and trace around the shape to help you build your wreath. I also decided to color my bunny. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to color her or if I preferred her completely white, but I decided that she needed a little bit of color. I used my Copic markers in RV10. I colored the inside of her ears and also added some blush to her cheeks. Next, I used E02, YR00, and E00 to color the body of the bunny. Not your typical colors, but I wanted her to be very light brown, almost white, hence the marker choice for my project. I also used a colorless blender marker and softened many of the colors. Next, I started adhering everything in place, and for this, I used glue. Now, I didn't want to have a lot of dimension on my card, so I decided to not use any foam adhesive aside from foam adhesive to foam mount the bunny onto the card itself. Adhering the wreath elements probably took me the longest, because I also needed to stamp and die cut some additional pieces. If you want to, you can stamp most of the elements onto the background and just add a handful of die cut pieces over the stamped pieces to avoid having to do so much die cutting. Here, most of the elements were die cut and just a few were stamped directly onto the card. The little leaf branches were stamped in green. Using a mix of stamped and die cut elements saved me from the trouble of doing masking. I can easily overlap a stamped image with a die cut image and avoid having to mask the entire image. And that's particularly handy with tiny images like these. To finish the card, I used Nuvo drops in Carnation Pink and added lots of teeny tiny dots next to each of the clusters, forming my oval wreath. The tiny dots look like little flowers, and they complete the wreath beautifully. I hope you'll give this idea a try. If you do, please share online and tag us on social media. We always love seeing what you guys are making. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.